into this industry was convoluted, as most entry paths into the entertainment industry are. I was working as a runner at Encore Recording Studios, where Dr. Dre had set up, Aftermath had set up, and this is when he was still recording Detox. And I just had become friends with one of the in-house producers that he had, and he was starting his own production company, and then he hired me, and then he went on to work for Kanye West, and he introduced me to Kanye's playback person, who is the CEO of the company that I work with now. It was very serendipitous, you know. He invited her to the studio one day, invited me, she played some tracks, I played some tracks. We walked out to our cars and said, hey, my friend is having a barbecue tomorrow. You want to come, bring, you know, whatever you're working on. It just turned out to be a lot of cool people, and the barbecue was the creative director of this company, and then he had a roommate that was an MC, and I played a beat, and he was in the other room and was, you know, came out of the room and was like, what's that? I want to rhyme on it. And it's just one thing led to another. And I was teaching at the time, and I got laid off from my job, and literally 2 months later, she put me on tour. When I think of DJing, I think of just, you know, someone with 2 turntables and they're using Serato or Tractor or something like that, and they're just playing songs. What I do is a little bit different. Yes, I do DJ, but I think specifically the fact that I DJ in Ableton prepared me for this job specifically because this is more of a programming job. And when you're a DJ in Ableton, what you're essentially doing is a crazy amount of programming, and then you're just triggering it on the fly. So I think that's where the crossover for me happened. At the end of the day, Ableton is just a tool, and the way that it is used is going to be defined by whoever is using it. The reason why I find that Ableton is so easy to use is that the way it's designed is that it takes you out of that left brain of having to set everything up and kind of lets you just focus on your right creative side brain where you're just improvising. This whole vertical session or live view that they have in Ableton allows you to treat your DAW like a sampler. So all those individual slots are just basically clips that you can just launch in a completely non-linear way. So you're not piecing your song together from left to right, you're piecing your song together from top to bottom. That's the thing that I found that was hindering me when I was producing in Logic, especially when I was producing in Pro Tools, was that I was just spending so much damn time setting stuff up that by the time I finished, you know, setting stuff up, I was just like totally not in the mood anymore. It just killed it for me. I was like, oh, I don't have any more energy left to create, you know? Some of my favorite producers, Linda Perry. Great producer. She was in this band Four Non Blondes. I didn't even know that she was a producer until I was listening to Pink and reading the linear notes, and I was like, oh my god, Linda Perry, I remember her from Four Non Blondes, and then looking her up on Wikipedia, and then just being, as far as like, you know, mainstays, Linda Perry, Missy Elliott, another amazing female producer. Toki Monsta is a very, she does some really, really interesting and amazing things with electronic music. And then again, this woman that I work with, Laura Escude, she's integrating VR technology. I feel very lucky in the sense that my mentors are also the people that I've cultivated very close relationships with, that I've learned a lot from, you know, and been very, very supportive along the way. There's this VR program on Steam called Soundstage. You can literally like build an entire studio, but it's like on the back end. So if you want to have a drum sampler, like you have to first get the sampler pad, and then you have to connect the wires into the speaker, and then I think it'd be a really great like educational thing on how to teach kids like how signal flow works. You know, if you want to have a synthesizer, then you have to grab an oscillator and then grab the tone generator and then make sure that the frequencies are going to the right output. But you can load your own samples into it, so you can do these completely virtual DJ sets. It's incredibly long and time consuming to set these up. And it's also it messes with your depth of perception because you're literally in the matrix. I got into Soundstage and I was in there for like 3 hours, and it was like, I got out, I was just like, I can't tell what's near or what's far, this is really messing me. You're the matrix of the matrix. Oh.